The Formula One world has been rocked by a bombshell suggestion regarding Max Verstappen. Just days before the 2025 season kicks off with the Australian Grand Prix, former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher dropped a stunning revelation that has sent shockwaves through the paddock. Could Max Verstappen be heading to Ferrari? The four-time world champion who's chasing a fifth consecutive driver's title might be looking for a new home. This news comes at a critical time as teams prepare for the season opener in Melbourne next weekend. Verstappen's 2024 title came despite a significant drop in Red Bull's performance. The once dominant team saw McLaren and Ferrari overtake them in pace during the second half of last season. Questions now hang over Red Bull as they head to Australia, especially after their rivals showed impressive form during preseason testing in Bahrain. The decline in performance hasn't gone unnoticed. It's fueled speculation that Verstappen could exit his Red Bull contract early, well before the agreed 2028 end date. The Dutchman's future has become one of F1's hottest topics. Speaking on a Sky Germany podcast, former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher said, "The more I think about it, the more logical it would be for Verstappen to go to Aston Martin. Maybe it's a bit far-fetched, and it mainly depends on how long he stays at Red Bull, but Verstappen could also go to Ferrari. You can't write off that option." For this move to happen, either Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc would need to leave Ferrari. While that seems unlikely right now, Schumacher reminds us that many thought the same about Hamilton joining Ferrari before it was announced last season. This situation deserves close attention, particularly if Red Bull continues to struggle with performance this season. Mercedes has also been linked with Verstappen. They showed interest in 2024 when Lewis Hamilton announced his shock move to Ferrari. However, they ultimately named Kimi Antonelli as Hamilton's replacement. Recent rumors suggested Max may have held a private meeting with Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff at an airport in the Netherlands. These reports came to light on Ziggo Sport when Renger van der Zande said, "I saw something passing by that Max had landed in Eindhoven," and then Toto Wolff's plane also happened to land there half an hour later and also left again with a difference of half an hour. So those conversations, of course, they are there. I don't know if Max is having them himself. Maybe it's already been arranged. You never know. His co-host Jack Pluige went further, claiming contracts are meant to be broken if that car doesn't perform. And with all the performance clauses and all that, he can just get out. It's been settled for a long time. He'll just be driving for Mercedes in 2026. This prompted a firm denial from Jos Verstappen, Max's father, who took to social media to state, Jack, you are talking nonsense. Ralf Schumacher doesn't see Mercedes as a viable option for Verstappen right now." He explained Mercedes, of course, still has the problem that they don't know which direction to take with the development of the car. At least that's how it looks, but it's still early. If both drivers get along very well, then Toto Wolff may not want to sacrifice anyone. And then there is the financial aspect. Max Verstappen is not exactly cheap. If you then have two drivers who just work well together, that may just be the better choice. Aston Martin has emerged as another potential destination for Verstappen. This option would reunite him with technical guru Adrian Newey, who recently joined Aston Martin following his Red Bull exit. Ralf Schumacher believes this move makes sense. He said, "The more I think about it, the more logical it would be for Verstappen to go to Aston Martin." This connection has gained credibility with Newey's arrival at the team, although Aston Martin has publicly denied any links to Verstappen. With Red Bull's performance declining and key personnel like Newey departing the stage, seems set for a potential move. Verstappen's contract runs until 2028, but exit clauses are believed to exist that could allow him to leave earlier. Red Bull faced significant off-track challenges in 2024. Team principal Christian Horner was accused of inappropriate behavior towards a female colleague. While he was cleared of all wrongdoing following an internal investigation, the situation created tension within the team. The controversy intensified when alleged messages from Horner were leaked to F1 team principals and media during the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. The newly released season of Netflix's Drive to Survive captures Horner's reaction to this incident. Horner explains in the show, "At the end of the second practice, suddenly my phone starts getting messages and this, that, and the other. There's a bombshell that's just dropped from a bunch of alleged messages." Horner believes the leak was calculated. He later added, "It was obviously premeditated to cause me the maximum amount of distraction, the maximum amount of aggravation. It was obvious that the end goal was for me to leave Red Bull." The controversy created additional strain within Red Bull. Max Verstappen's father, Jos, publicly criticized Horner, saying the team would explode if he remained in position. There is tension here. While he remains in position, Verstappen Sr. said, back in March, the team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way it is. It will explode. This internal conflict, combined with the departure of key figures like Adrian Newey, has fueled speculation about Verstappen looking for a new team. Despite the challenges, Verstappen remains focused on the upcoming season. He's still hungry for success, as demonstrated by his comments about last season. Verstappen said, "My motivation is there because I think already last year it was not straightforward. We had, of course, good wins, but I guess not as many as we would have liked, but we still won the championship." After a turbulent year where off-track events threatened to overwhelm his team and his father clashed with management, Verstappen appears more settled. He recently described Red Bull as feeling like a second family. However, Verstappen has been clear that he doesn't want to stay in F1 into his 40s like Hamilton or Fernando Alonso. This adds another dimension to his career decisions going forward. As the 2025 season approaches, the competitive landscape looks tighter than ever. Lando Norris enters as the favorite after he and McLaren showed strong form in the second half of 2024. Norris said, "I know coming into this season that for a lot of people, I'm the favorite, and as a team, we're the favorites. I've always done much better under pressure. I'm able to think and to focus much more." Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton begins his quest for a record 8th title with Ferrari. The British driver proclaimed himself invigorated at F1's glitzy season launch. Ferrari's passionate Tifosi fans have high expectations that Hamilton could finally bring success to the Italian team, which hasn't won a driver's title since 2007. Hamilton said, "I know what a winning team looks and feels like. The passion here is like nothing you've ever seen. They've got absolutely every ingredient they need to win a world championship, and it's just about putting all the pieces together." Other contenders include Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, McLaren's Oscar Piastri, and Mercedes' George Russell. The competitiveness was evident last season when 5 drivers from 4 different teams won the last 6 races. Ferrari holds a special place in Formula One. Despite their title drought, they remain the sport's most prestigious team. For any driver, including Verstappen, the allure of racing in Ferrari Red is powerful.
I remember, I don't remember anything apart from Bono saying, hammer time. Oh, yeah, that's all I remember.
The next one.
I literally have 7 days to find the word to have Ricciardo say
Martello, tempo del martello.
Tempo del martello.
Dobbiamo trovare...
Lewis Hamilton has finally made his move to Ferrari for the 2025 season. The 7-time world champion has left behind not just Mercedes, but also his iconic partnership with race engineer Pete Bono Bonington. This shift marks the end of an era and brings a question to everyone's mind. What happens to the famous hammer time call that defined Hamilton's aggressive driving moments for over a decade? Hamilton's transition to Ferrari has been nothing short of extraordinary. The British driver has thrown himself completely into the Ferrari culture, showing levels of dedication that have impressed even the most seasoned team members. His integration process offers fascinating insights into how a champion adapts to a new environment. Let's explore how Hamilton is adapting to life in red, what might replace his iconic hammer time phrase, and what this partnership could mean for Formula One in 2025. The phrase hammer time became synonymous with Lewis Hamilton's most aggressive driving moments at Mercedes. But how did it start? Hamilton explained to Autosport in 2022, there was a point where he was like, now is the time to push. And I got frustrated with him because I was like, dude, I'm already pushing, but I was like, if you're trying to signify now's the time to go all out, use everything you have, I said, just tell me it's hammer time. That was part of our growth. This simple phrase became a critical part of Hamilton's communication strategy with Bonington. When fans heard it's hammer time over the team radio, they knew Hamilton was about to push his car to the absolute limit. The phrase transcended its functional purpose and became part of Formula One folklore. For 12 years, this catchphrase was more than just a signal. It represented the perfect synergy between driver and engineer. Their relationship evolved into one of the most successful partnerships in F1 history, collecting multiple championships together. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in 2024 marked Hamilton's final race with Mercedes. It was also the last time fans would hear Bonington's iconic hammer time call directed at Hamilton. I noticed that today, Hamilton told media, including PlanetF1.com, after the Yas Marina race. When he told me, I was like, I can't even remember the last time he told me hammer time. The moment was bittersweet for Hamilton, who reflected on his journey with Bonington. What a roller coaster ride I've had with Bono. He's been one of my closest friends for many years. It's something I didn't expect to have because he worked with Michael Schumacher. He's worked with great drivers, and for the longest time, he stood by me. For an engineer to stick by someone, as frustrating and painful as it can sometimes be, he stood by me every single day, without fail. Meanwhile, Bonington isn't leaving Mercedes. He's already working with teenage prodigy Kimi Antonelli, while Hamilton adjusts to life with his new race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Previously, Adami worked with Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz at Ferrari, bringing valuable experience to this new partnership. The question on everyone's mind, will Hamilton keep his iconic phrase at Ferrari? When asked by Sky Sports during preseason testing, Hamilton admitted, I haven't spoken to my engineer about that. I don't know how it would sound with an Italian accent, so I'll have to find an Italian word probably. We'll probably find something new. During a Ferrari event in Milan, the topic of Hamilton's signature phrase came up again. In a candid moment captured on video, Hamilton reflected, I don't remember anything apart from Bono saying. His new teammate, Charles Leclerc, playfully prompted him, come on, go on. Hamilton then continued, hammer time. I literally have 7 days to find the word to have Riccardo say. This is where Leclerc, who speaks fluent Italian, offered a potential solution. He suggested tempo di martello as the Italian equivalent of hammer time. The three-word Italian phrase seemed like a logical replacement. However, Hamilton later ruled out this suggestion, stating that tempo di martello just wouldn't sound right with the dynamic he's trying to build with his new engineer. This decision highlights Hamilton's attention to detail. He recognizes that the relationship with his race engineer needs authentic communication that feels natural to both parties. Simply translating his old phrase wouldn't capture the unique chemistry he's building with Adami. Hamilton's approach to joining Ferrari has been remarkable in its thoroughness. He's not just changing teams, he's fully immersing himself in Ferrari culture. During preseason, Hamilton took extraordinary steps to integrate with his new team. He parked his motorhome outside the farmhouse that once served as Enzo Ferrari's office in Maranello. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was practical, allowing him to eliminate travel time and maximize his interactions with the team. Hamilton's dedication went further. He walked through the entire Maranello facility, personally meeting all 1,500 staff members. He even invited engineers to his temporary home for dinner, building personal connections beyond the workplace. Hamilton explained, I want people to know that I'm willing to go above and beyond to be able to blend in and to contribute to my fullest potential. His commitment sends a clear message. This isn't just another job for him, it's a mission. The British driver is also tackling the language barrier head-on. Hamilton delivered a short speech to his new team members in Maranello, and he's actively learning Italian technical terminology to improve communication with his garage. Hamilton explained, I'm in the learning phase of understanding the rear suspension, the front suspension, all the different settings they have for those, and the terminology they use for them. My engineer and I are also learning how we like to work in terms of communication. After every session, every time I go out, basically we're making adjustments to the information I give him and vice versa. Hamilton's study regimen is intense. I've got it all on my computer and I'm studying it each day and night to make sure I understand when they're talking about the different components. Rather than seeing these challenges as obstacles, Hamilton embraces them. It's a part of the learning process, and that's what makes it exciting. Because it's all new, I'm loving that newness. For Hamilton, joining Ferrari fulfills a childhood dream. As a young boy, he played video games as Michael Schumacher, imagining himself in the iconic red car. Now that dream has become reality. The emotional impact of this transition is evident in Hamilton's descriptions. He recalls catching his first glimpse of himself in the Ferrari race suit in a bathroom mirror and stopping to take in its significance. The night before his first test run in a Ferrari at Fiorano, he barely slept from excitement. Hamilton sees something special in the Ferrari organization. He said, everyone here dreams of winning with Ferrari, every single person. The energy that I'm receiving from the team, there's magic here. His assessment of Ferrari's potential is clear and confident. They've got absolutely every ingredient they need to win a world championship. It's just about putting all the pieces together. This optimism isn't unfounded. Ferrari finished second to McLaren by just 14 points last year and ended the season with an improving car. The SF25 is an evolution of that design and should suit Hamilton better than the Mercedes he struggled with in recent seasons. The SF25 is an evolution of last year's car with improvements that should better match Hamilton's driving style. The Ferrari's level of oversteer particularly suits Hamilton, who excels at controlling the rotation of the car as it transitions from slow to high speed.
I've obviously, I don't remember anything in it, apart from Bono saying,
It's hammer time.
Come on, go on.
hammer time. That's all I remember.
The next one.
I literally have 7 days to find the word to have Ricciardo say,
Martello, tempo del martello.
Tempo Martello.
Dobbiamo trovare
For over a decade, F1 fans around the world became familiar with a very special radio call between Lewis Hamilton and his Mercedes race engineer, Peter Bono Bonington. The iconic hammer time message became synonymous with Hamilton's dominance on track. But what exactly was hammer time all about? The phrase wasn't just random, it had deep meaning for Hamilton and his engineer. As Hamilton himself explained, hammer time is, say, my pit stop is lap 20 or lap 25. In that moment, usually they say, time to push. Hamilton revealed that he actually created the phrase himself out of frustration with longer radio messages. Bono would come out with these long sentences. Hi, Lewis, just to let you know that it's time to start pushing, and it's a really long bit of speech. I said, Bono, just tell me it's hammer time, and it means push like a mofo and get going. This simple phrase became a powerful signal between the pair, with Bono using it every time the team wanted Hamilton to extract maximum performance from his car, just before a pit stop. The phrase, a clever reference to MC Hammer's 1990 hit You Can't Touch This, combined with Hamilton's three-letter designation, Ham in F1, became a staple of their communication. The emotional significance of this partnership became clear after Hamilton's final race with Mercedes at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where he realized it was the last time he would hear the iconic call. Hamilton told this media after the Yas Marina race, I noticed that today. When he told me, I was like, I can't even remember the last time he told me hammer time. What a roller coaster ride I've had with Bono. He's been one of my closest friends for many years. Hamilton reflected on their long partnership with genuine emotion. It's something I didn't expect to have because he worked with Michael Schumacher. He's worked with great drivers, and for the longest time, he stood by me. For an engineer to stick by someone as frustrating and painful as it can sometimes be, he stood by me every single day without fail. This end of an era marks the beginning of Hamilton's bold new chapter. But what will replace the iconic hammer time at Ferrari? With Hamilton now donning the famous red of Ferrari, the question on everyone's lips is, what will replace the iconic hammer time radio call? During a Ferrari event, Hamilton addressed this very question. I don't remember anything apart from Bono saying, before his new teammate Charles Leclerc humorously interrupted, "Come on, go on." Hamilton continued, "Hammer time. I literally have 7 days to find the word to have Ricciardo say." That's when Leclerc, fluent in Italian, suggested a three-word replacement, tempo di martello, the Italian equivalent of hammer time.
I remember, I've obviously, I don't remember anything in it, apart from Bono saying,
Come on, go on.
hammer time. That's all I remember.
the next one.
I literally have 7 days to find the word to have Ricciardo say,
Martello, tempo del martello.
Tempo Martello.
Dobbiamo trovare
But will Hamilton adopt this Italian phrase? The seven-time world champion seems unsure. When asked about it during preseason testing in Bahrain, Hamilton admitted, I haven't spoken to my engineer about that. I don't know how it would sound with an Italian accent, so I'll have to find an Italian word probably. We'll probably find something new. In more recent comments, Hamilton has actually ruled out using tempo di martello, suggesting it just wouldn't sound right. It seems the search for a new iconic radio call continues. The radio call isn't the only communication challenge Hamilton faces at Ferrari. He's now working with race engineer Riccardo Adami, who previously worked with Carlos Sainz, and communication is key to their success. Hamilton has revealed he's deep in the learning process of mastering Ferrari's technical language. He said, "I'm in the learning phase of understanding the rear suspension, the front suspension, all the different settings they have for those, and the terminology they use for them. My engineer and I are also learning how we like to work in terms of communication." The champion driver is taking his preparation seriously. "I've got it all on my computer, and I'm studying it each day and night to make sure I understand when they're talking about the different components." Despite the challenge, Hamilton is embracing the change. It's a part of the learning process, and that's what makes it exciting because it's all new. I'm loving that newness. This newness extends beyond just language. Hamilton is entering a completely different team dynamic with a teammate who's already established at Ferrari. And what he's said about this partnership has sent a clear message to Max Verstappen and the rest of the grid. Lewis Hamilton has made an extraordinary claim about his partnership with Charles Leclerc at Ferrari. Speaking in a video shared by Scuderia Ferrari, Hamilton declared, "We're the strongest pairing F1 has probably ever had." Let that sink in. The strongest pairing in F1 history. This isn't just a casual comment. It's a direct challenge to reigning champion Max Verstappen and his Red Bull team. Hamilton isn't just suggesting they'll be competitive, he's claiming they'll be historically dominant. What makes this statement even more remarkable is Hamilton's own history of high-profile teammates. Throughout his extraordinary career, Hamilton has partnered with some of the greatest drivers in the sport. He raced alongside two-time world champion Fernando Alonso at McLaren in 2007 and had a famously intense rivalry with 2016 champion Nico Rosberg at Mercedes. Yet Hamilton believes his partnership with Leclerc surpasses them all. This is a clear warning shot fired directly at Verstappen, who has dominated the sport in recent years. Hamilton has been equally effusive in his praise for Leclerc individually, calling him massively talented and expecting great things from him in 2025. Charles is massively talented. Getting to see him work opposite the table and watching him in the garage, it's been really, really great, Hamilton said, as reported by F1.com. Obviously, he's been here for a long time, so he knows the team well. He speaks Italian, he's at home and at ease. But because we already had a friendship before, that's made it a lot easier to just get straight into working together. Hamilton added, "He's incredibly talented, so he's going to be so fast this year. I'm looking forward to learning what I can from him and supporting him alongside the team to deliver the best results we can get." The mutual respect appears to be genuine, with their pre-existing friendship facilitating their working relationship. This harmonious partnership stands in stark contrast to some of F1's more turbulent teammate dynamics, potentially giving Ferrari an edge in the Constructors' Championship. But can this strongest pairing in history deliver on such a bold claim? That remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, Max Verstappen and Red Bull will not take this challenge lightly. For Hamilton, joining Ferrari isn't just another career move, it's the fulfillment of a childhood dream. In an emotional statement, Hamilton revealed his long-held desire to drive for the sport's most storied team. He said, "I have always imagined what it would be like sitting in the cockpit, surrounded by red. I have always seen the drivers that came before me in red and wondered how that would feel for me. You know, this emotional connection to Ferrari adds another dimension to Hamilton's motivation.